Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is your friend, your host, Dharam Singh, and I'm here with a lovely lady, Seshne. She has recently completed her PgMP journey and she has accepted my request to join this session and to share her knowledge and talk about her journey as a project manager, program manager, and answer your questions. And as usual, I'm very excited and bringing my guest and bringing knowledge so that this knowledge bank can be used by you and knowledge bank can be used by your colleagues and maybe next few generations. Hopefully YouTube is there and the videos are there for long and long time. So thank you once again to all of you to taking time to join this session and learn from these sessions. You have been very loyal. You have been joining after webinar after webinar. And if you have not watched all the webinars, please go to the YouTube channel. There are probably, I've stopped counting, is 60, 70 interviews, and all with great people. And and they have shared a lot about their journey and about themselves. So just to acknowledge Seshne and the people who came to this program, this takes a lot of effort for them to come out of the comfort zone of doing whatever they're doing, great things, to come and spend time, to be in front of you and listen to my questions. Of course, the questions have been shared with her earlier, so she is prepared. So she has spent a lot of time to prepare for these questions. So thank you once again, and it's great that you have accepted my invite, and I'm sure we're going to have an exciting session. Thank you very much, Seshne. How are you today?
Sure. Thank you very much, Dharam, for the opportunity. So currently, just for everyone on the call, I'm currently sort of a project program manager working at TFG, and TFG is a retail sort of organization. And there I'm doing projects in the merchandise space, or programs in the merchandise space. I've recently connected with Dharam, and he was my mentor for the PgMP exam. So we've done a lot of hard work together, and I've recently passed my my PgMP. So thank you very much. And then Dharam reached out to give me this opportunity to be able to chat to everyone, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and I'm glad to have the discussion with everyone. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Seshne.
Yeah.
So, Seshne, currently you are in Cape Town in South Africa, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And I'm sure the weather is good. You mentioned that it's spring getting there
Yes.
and having fun time.
Beautiful weather. Beautiful.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, so thank you once again to everybody joining today. And a lot of people are registered, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to benefit from this. So, at any time, if you have any questions to Seshne and to me, please make sure you put on the question pad, and I will take this question as and when the right time comes. Or maybe if it's relevant at that moment, I can take the question at the time. Seshne don't have access to the question. I will read out the question for her, and we'll try to give you as best as possible. If you cannot answer for any reason, I will come back to you with our explanation later on. Maybe we can have discussion after the session. But we should be fine. Given the Seshne's experience and expertise and my area of expertise, we're able to handle most of the questions. All right, so if you are preparing for PgMP and PfMP or PfMP, I have shared 2 video link, and if you take copy of them and watch those videos, I'm sure you're going to learn a lot about the process of PgMP or PfMP. What are the things you have to do, what not to do, because sometimes people don't know what are the steps required, what else what else I can do to make myself more ready to pass the exam. So, Seshne, you passed the exam, PgMP exam on 12th of September 2022. It's not long ago, actually, just a month ago.
Yes.
Think about it.
Yeah.
And that exciting news, and the exciting discussion we had was great. I'm very happy, glad to see you got your result, and very good result. And your whole group, including Piyush, he
Yes.
also completed his PgMP just last week only. So the 3 out of 3 done from the group.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And look, guys, I don't care how small the group size is, but as long as I have more than one person in the group, I run the class. So in this class, there were 3 people, but all 3 people passed exam in the record time. I'm very, very happy for Seshne and to Piyush and to everybody in the group.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, and part of this program, I'm going to give you one code, PDU code, that will help you to earn 1 PDUs. I know it's 1 PDU, but if you look at all the previous webinars and as long as it lasts 1 year, you can claim the PDUs. Okay. So if you watch 60 videos, I don't think I have 60, or maybe I'm close to 60, you can earn so many PDUs. But if you have to earn, the aim is only to earn PDU, but there are many other ways you can earn the PDU. And I'm sure here you're not going to spend 1 hour just to listen us just for PDU. You are here to learn something new from Seshne, something new from me. So once again, thank you, all of you. Thank you. All right. So Seshne, this is how it go. The program will go, and I have given you a set of questions. You have seen those questions. You prepared yourself, and be present and explain the best way you can. And our friends will ask questions. And I think we have one question from previously asked, so we will take that question as well. So more interactive we can make, more question you guys can ask will be beneficial for you. Okay, so be ready to ask questions. Any type of questions, of course, it is related to the topic. And if it's not related to topic, of course, we can talk as offline as well. So once again, thank you, and let's get started. Are you ready? Perfect.
Ready.
As if we are playing, we're going to play Who Wants to Be Millionaire? No, it's not. But if you do, if actually you prepare, study hard and get your certification, you put your timeline, you actually can be a millionaire, and not by winning a lottery or something, by your own efforts. Anyway, so that's another topic we can talk about. All right, so topic we have is human-centric project management approach. Any project we run, program we run, there is a human, we have to rely on the human resources. And we cannot underestimate the effort of the human being as a team, as a leader, and as a group, as an organization, have to get together with the full mindset and with approach, vision, and get the project done, deliver the objectives for the project and programs. That's what it is. So, Seshne, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are organizations ready to adopt a human-centric project management approach that aligns with organization vision, stakeholder expectations, and a greater social impact?
So I think for this question, where I wanted to start initially is just for the program and project managers, just to put it into context for everyone, right? So we normally have agile projects, waterfall projects. Everyone is very, very in tune, understand the difference between that. Human-centered project management approach actually lives alongside those, right? So it is another technique of managing projects, and it should form part of any project or program management professional's toolkit, right? The methodology, it basically says that you need to put the customer at the center of any processes that you do as part of the program or the project, right? And it's more than just, sort of putting them there. It's actually empathizing with the customer. So understanding the pain points from their side in order for you to be able to find effective solutions to cater for the problems, right, that are on the table. So what it actually does is it allows the team to first understand what happens in the customer's world, Then the team comes back. They brainstorm different ideas in terms of how to sort the problem out, right? And then out of that session, there's normally various ideas that are put on the table. And then the team needs to go through those ideas and find the idea that is most suitable to solve the problem. And based on that, a prototype is built, right? And that prototype you use to be able to play that back to the customer. So the initial point for the customer is you interacting with the customer, understanding their world. And then the next point of contact is actually taking your prototype and then playing it back to the customer and checking whether it actually solves the problem, right? And
Yeah.
out of that session, yeah, and out of that session, you'll actually have a lot of feedback coming from there, and you can enhance your idea. Okay, so that's basically the methodology. Then there's a lot of research that has been done by various companies on the human-centered project management approach. And all of those studies actually prove that using this approach increases the ROI, profitability in terms of time and cost saving for the project, right? It proved that if you were to do a project sort of in the, I'd call it the conventional way, as we used to do it before, versus the human-centered project management approach, it actually proved that projects are faster, development efforts are reduced, testing time is reduced. So ultimately, you're going to market quicker, right? The mechanism then of building the prototype and checking with the customer allows the project team uh, to check that before full-scale build. So the project is not also putting down a lot of cost initially, and you're proving the concept. So that reduces risk for the project, okay? And also, by focusing the attention on the core reason for the project, which is the customer, more creative solutions are formed, solutions that are able to sort of speak to the customer, and that also helps the project in terms of sustaining that benefit, right, after and for the customer to be able to adopt the solution. Okay. I actually did come across one example, and it really spoke to me. And I wanted to share it, I think, in this session, right? Because I thought initially it's quite logical. So there was a company, or toothbrushes, let's say, okay, toothbrushes for kids. They used to be produced with small handles, right? And that's because the thinking was that a child had a smaller hand, and therefore the handle of the brush needs to be smaller. Now, I think when you look at that, it's actually quite a logical conclusion to draw, right? However, the company, it's called IDEO, they actually watched a 5-year-old child brushing their teeth. And when they saw this child brushing their teeth with the toothbrush, they realized that the handle is too small. A child who is 5 years old does not have the dexterity or motor skills of an adult. And their version of a kid's toothbrush was actually made with a larger, more squishy handle. And what happened out of that is that they were the best selling toothbrush for 18 months in the market before any competitor was able to replicate that. Now, that's definite profitability for a company. And I think that's where you can see, you know, using the human-centered approach, you'd be able to see things more easily rather than drawing logical conclusions where you think that something would work, but actually it doesn't really work in practice, right? So I think coming back to the question, right, where we are asking, are organizations ready to adopt the human-centered project management approach? I actually think, based on the discussion, I don't think it actually is a question. I think organizations need to make themselves ready in order to be relevant to the market. I think that's where the market is going currently. And to be able to be relevant, you need to be able to solve problems with solutions that work.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
A very, very good way to explain this complex
Yeah.
topic and give
Thanks.
an example which is very, makes sense to everybody. And basically,
Yeah.
you need to see the human point of view, from the stakeholder point of view, from beneficiary's point of view, and
Yes.
your own employee's point of view. Various angles you have to see, and the vision can be different from the different point of view. Let's say if you look from a beneficiary point of view, as you mentioned, I'm brushing the teeth, and
Yes.
we assume that because the hands are small and have a small hand, but they have different way of holding the toothbrush.
Yes.
And that comes to them, they realize that by doing some research, understanding why. So a lot of questions to be answered. You can't just somebody ask it, your customer come and say, I need this 2-bedroom, 2-story house and so and so. Yeah, it's a simple house, of course, but you need to see from their point of view what they're going to do, what's the purpose of that, where they will play, where they will have swimming and all kind of things. So that will give that you actually thinking from their point of view, and when they get the solution, they get really, really excited. Yeah. So,
yes, definitely.
and this is something I like to apply in my approach when I'm teaching my student, and probably you have observed that. So every individual is different. There are some people they are exceptionally very, very great. Some people are just coming out and average, above average. So approach, I cannot have the same approach. I have to have a tailored approach. So when Seshne comes, exceptional person, she I have to give some this direction. When somebody else come, I have to provide some more support and more encouragement. So that's what it's all about, thinking from the stakeholder point of view, from your client point of view.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you. And guys, if you feel that you have a question or something, or if you want to, it's looking, it makes sense, doesn't make sense, please feel free to ask the question. Thank you. All right, great. My next question for you, how can today's program and project managers be resilient, agile, and nimble to be part of the organizational transformation changes? So we're talking about changes every year, organization changes, digital transformation, agile transformation, so many things going on.
So I think those characteristics are actually what organizations look for project and program managers. So in order for companies to be able to put you on those strategic initiatives, they need to have confidence in you, and they need to know that, by giving you this opportunity, you'd be able to make the best out of it, right? And lead them to success. So how are we going to gain the skills, right, to instill this confidence? So for me, the first part, I think, in terms of a character trait, is having a positive mindset and an attitude when encountering obstacles, right? So the way that the program or the project manager would handle situations, that has a direct impact on the project team and how the team is able to deliver. So if you reach an obstacle and you are sort of very worried, you're quite stressed, you put out that sort of feeling, then naturally the project team will get stressed. But if you encounter an obstacle, you have a positive mindset about the obstacle, and you look for logical ways in order to remove the obstacles with the team, then the team is more calm in that situation, and therefore you'd be able to take them through, right? Another item that is inevitable in projects and programs is change, right? So we know we're going to have change in a project and a program. So I would suggest to learn to monitor the landscape, internal, external, in order to anticipate what changes could come for your project or your program, plan for the changes, understand the different scenarios, because ultimately what you would need to do is you'd need to aim to reduce the impact for the change, right? You can also use the change as an opportunity. Sometimes that is possible where you actually see benefit out of there that you can propose. And basically what this does is it allows the team to see that you're able to manage the program or the project. It's not sort of out of your control because you've anticipated items, you've worked through it. So the team will naturally come on board and join you on the journey, right? Because they feel that they will be able to achieve something at the end of the day, right? Then programs definitely, due to its nature, quite ambiguous at the start. And I think you need to have a certain grit in your character, right, to be able to navigate uncertainty and to remain comfortable. And the only way you're going to gain these skills is to take yourself out of that comfort zone. Find the opportunities where you're going to put yourself in those situations so that you can actually find ways in order or mechanisms for you to be able to cope with that uncertainty, right? It's only out of practice will you be able to master the skill. Okay. And then naturally, out of programs and projects, things don't normally always work to plan. And, you know, some people might see this as a failure, but I would actually see that or say that you need to actually take that as a learning opportunity, right? So in everything that you do and every obstacle that you encounter, um, you know, there's always a learning that comes out from there. And if you bank all of those learnings over time, you will have a very good bag, right, of all the things that you've learned, and you can apply those to any project or program that you're working on, right? And you'll be able to choose the solution that best fits the constraints that you're working on in terms of the project or the program. So continuous learning, something that is definitely key, and I see that. And that continuous learning will allow you to bounce back quite quickly from any stress that occurs in the project or the program. I think we all should understand, I think everyone on the call, in terms of the world, we've chosen one of the most stressful jobs in the world. It's classified as such. So I think yeah, so I think out of all of this and taking ourselves, putting into that, you know, the uncomfortable place, at the end of it, we'll have quite an enjoyable career. And you'll be able to really add value and see massive change. And I think that's what drives most of us, right? Who is in this profession, because we actually want to see the difference and we want to be able to change things for the better. Um, and I think by doing all of these things, we'll be able to thrive in our careers rather than, you know, just surviving. So I think definitely those are the things that we need to work on to make ourselves resilient, agile, nimble, so that we're chosen, you know, to lead those big programs.
Fantastic. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of philosophy in this answering the
yeah,
question. And it's just not a
yeah,
project management. You know, you need to, you know, feel part of that,
yeah,
enjoy the journey.
yeah,
And the way you said, we have selected this profession.
yeah,
Why not make the best use of this? You know, have
yes,
passion in whatever you do. You know, I like this. That the passion is the one thing which can drive. There are like two things we can see in the life. You know, the same thing if you see is that it can be a pressure, or a
mm,
second person can see that as passion, out of passion.
yes,
And if you know, if you just take this as a job and go to the office and oh my
mm,
God, another deadline, my
mm,
boss and this and that, then it's the pressure. And
yes,
that will become stress for you, that start impacting your health and your well-being and everything, and your family, everything.
yes,
But if
mm,
you, on other side, if you take this, okay, opportunity, to make a difference to the organization, to the world, to the beneficiaries. And then you see that you're playing a very important role there. Because of things are happening. And once you see that happening, I know you may be going late nights, weekends, but because you're passionate about it, you will not get tired. You will not see the stress in your face. Of course, all these things, body is body. But what I'm saying, body react to our thoughts.
Yes.
So that's where the passion and pressure differentiate. Whatever you do, whether you're going for any certification or doing any job, or going, in your family life, if you can convert that into a passion, then life is different. Okay, and I can keep talking about this topic. This is one of the favorite topics I have, which how I see myself from 15 years to now. Nothing can happen if I cannot dream about seeing myself sitting here talking to so many people if I have not, start enjoying the job. Anyway, thank you. It was a great answer. I'm really, really happy that the way it is coming out, and I hope people are enjoying this. And I'm getting a lot of people joining the session. Great stuff, fantastic. Yeah, I know there are questions coming very soon, so let's keep going through my questions. All right.
Sure.
Okay. What impact does project economy have on humanizing project management for the present and the future?
So first, I just want to, put it into context. So for the past decade, right, the economy and companies were mostly driven by efficiency, right? That is reducing costs. That was the major driver in that decade, right? To reduce cost, increase, and thereby increasing profitability. And the structures in the company in order to do this and manage the efficiencies were very heavy hierarchical structures, right? However, currently, businesses are operating at a faster rate. I think we see it in the economy. AI is also assisting businesses now to code up routine functions. Digitization is increasing, right?
Yeah.
This is resulting in the processes that people were trying to make efficient as efficient as possible. So the gain now that is going to be obtained by still following that track of trying to optimize efficiency doesn't make any sense, right? There's other avenues now that people need to start looking for. And when looking at that, and there's more information on the Project Management Institution site, but the team at PMI, they came up with a concept called the project economy, or this is basically how they see the world moving in the future, right? So they predict that in the future, work will not be as it is now, where people have roles and job descriptions, right? They feel that that will be collapsed and work will mostly be around projects. Employees will not actually sit in the fixed position, but actually move between projects rather. So what they see is that companies will start reorganizing the structures of the companies more around projects and programs in order to remain relevant in the economy, and people will move from one project to the next, and that's how people will operate in the future, right? And because of this, for me, it will actually be a more competitive landscape, right? So companies are going to strive to find ways to do things better, to solve problems in a better way in order for them to accomplish the work. And what they are going to, so the aim now is actually going to be disrupting the market, right? And they would want to disrupt the market because they want to gain benefits. So they would, or profitability from an idea until the point where the next competitor will be able to replicate that, right? So as a company, there's just two things in the future. One, your aim is going to be to disrupt the market, right? And that normally happens via projects. And if you are not first market, you need to be able to respond to the change quite quickly so that you can also be on the train to be able to make the profits that you need, because the product that you have in the market, sales are going to decline for that as people adopt a solution that better suits their needs.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how does this link to human-centered project management technique? I think this technique is going to increase in importance because the technique places the customer at the center, leading to solutions that's relevant to the customer and the market in turn. The solutions here using this technique is most likely going to disrupt the market, leading companies to reap the profits out of those solutions, right? Also, using this technique, it's more cost effective, it is lower risk. So it is one of the benefits of the human-centered project approach. And I think the project economy is going to fuel the adoption of the human-centered project management technique as it gains its momentum in the market. Yeah.
Fantastic. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
First explaining the project economy, why this,
Yeah.
what is happening, what PMI's role, and
Mm.
human-centric project economy is,
Mm.
but that's what the future is. That's where we are moving.
Yes.
You cannot just say I'm a project manager. Your role is defined by the project itself.
Yes.
Okay. You may be playing a leadership role without having leadership as a designation, because that's the need for the project. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Good. So, guys, any questions you have? That means, there are two things. One is they are bored, sleepy, or second is they are listening every word from you, which is, I think, second thing.
I'll take the
Okay.
second one, where they're listening to every word.
So in this kind of a tool we are using, only thing we can happen is they can listen to us. We don't know what they're doing, whether they're listening or not listening. Anyway, I know, I'm assuming, they're listening. So continuing the process, let me ask another question. Okay. How can project leaders create an environment where empathy is embedded within the entire organization that prioritize the workforce emotional, mental, and physical health?
So in order to do this, I think that it needs to be driven higher up from the organization. So I really do believe that it needs to, organizations would need to start looking at the organization's values. Normally, this is the guiding star that everyone in the organization uses. And they understand that, and that leads to the culture of the organization, right? It encourages the right behavior because companies or individuals in the company know what the organization requires from them, right? So that's the first thing. And secondly, in order to maintain that culture that you would have grown in the organization by placing the relevant values, you would also need to make sure that the people that you hire into the organization definitely fits that culture to ensure that the organization maintains the culture. Okay. Then once that's down and embedded from a value perspective, there also should be a drive or prioritization of an employee well-being strategy. Okay, and that strategy would lead to an eventual plan. And there's a lot of companies that do have this currently or moving towards this because they do feel that it adds a lot of value to the employees. So things like encouraging exercise so that employees are more productive, they're less likely to suffer from burnout. There's also some things like on-site gym facilities, which some companies have. Some companies also allow employees to buy bikes or subsidize bikes so that they're able to cycle to work. You can also organize yoga classes during lunch. So these are some of the things that organizations are doing from an exercise perspective. Then also something that is very important and quite close, I think, to my heart is the practice of mindfulness, right? And that allows you to focus on what really matters in life, right? It's bringing yourself to the present moment, and that allows your body to reset, allows your mind to reset as well. And I found a lot of good applications that provides guided meditation so that you're able to relieve some of the stress that actually accumulates during the day. So for me, this is one of the practices that I do currently. And then also there's been some studies that have shown that offices that have more nature-inspired elements like plants actually leads to a less stressful, less anxiety, and believe it or not, less hostility between people. And so, yeah, so indoor plants is quite important in the workplace. It actually does increase scores, so people do really like it. So that's some of the things that I would consider as part of the strategy. And then also encouraging positive eating habits, right? So normally people who don't have time, they have poor nutrition choices, and definitely I can attest to this at some time. So by educating employees and by sending them information about what they could prepare in a small amount of time that is actually um, healthy options would help, because it actually would reduce them um, making bad choices like take out food, crisps, chocolate, which many people, including myself, use. And then that over time it tends to prove that it does lower diabetes and chances of obesity. And also providing fruit for snacks is actually quite appreciated by employees, and I know my company has done that also, so that's quite nice. And then I think what's important to a person who comes to work every day is to know whether they're doing a good job or not. And by, letting the team know, letting the person know that you've done a good job, it allows the person to understand their performance. It actually beds down, that I'm making a difference on a daily basis. So that helps. And also, if the team feels, there's unrealistic deadlines, there's heavy workloads and things like that, there should be an open door, right? You should be able to discuss anything that that you feel with management. And then I feel by having those two things, aligning the organization and everyone in it, and also having this a well-being strategy, it will lead to improved morale. It will decrease stress levels. It tends to increase in productivity once stress levels decrease as a natural item, and then it will ultimately be a benefit to the organization. Yeah.
Definitely. At time I was thinking maybe I'm talking with the doctor. A lot of health food suggestions coming about eating habits and how much to sleep and how much to do. Actually, all these things are very, very important. Yes, doctors are saying, but as the project managers and the leaders, we need to ensure that we understand how it is impacting my staff. Because most of the time we are worried about deadlines and milestones, running behind that, late night and weekends. In that whole process, we forget about the human being, the people who are doing the job, and they are the one who are getting impacted. Because if they are not happy, healthy, or excited, then your project will see that. And I remember I used to say, what's the difference between mother's food when mother is cooking food for you and when you buy it from outside?
Yeah.
The taste is very different. That's why we say mother food. Because when mother is cooking food, they put passion, they put love into that. I wish I
Yeah.
can buy something from grocery store. You cannot find it. That passion and love is coming from inside. And when
Hmm.
you put that into the whatever we do, that will automatically will become better. And if you just treat your staff and the staff as a number, then you will not get the same passion and love from them. But
Hmm.
when they get connected with the work, with the organization, objective, vision, mission, and they have been looked after, and they have been given some time to spend time with the family and to do the things that they can do for themselves. They get connected. They find themselves very much in love with your organization, and when they're working, the work will be reflecting in your project program and client. You will see the client's rating will go up.
Yes.
So very, very powerful message. And thank you for bringing that, because most time we forget about,
Mhm.
we are so mad about getting the work done. We forget about the human-centric, human being, the people who are doing the
Mhm.
job, what they're going through. So that's what the empathy and the emotional intelligence, what we're talking, it's not just buzzword. Listen to them, learn from them, and apply that learning in your project, in your program, in your family, in your dealing with your friends and society. All very, very important. Great discussion. Thank you.
Mm.
Okay. All right. I hope you're liking, guys. That's where we don't when we don't see you. We don't know whether you're really, because otherwise we get the body language, your facial expression. But only way you can communicate, say yes, no, yes, going great, not going great. So please, at least say that
Mm.
somewhere, whether on chat or on the questions. But anyway, no, I'm enjoying this session. I'm already enjoying. So, and I'm very, very sure you also enjoy. Thank you. Okay, I have another question for you, and now we're talking about, even though the on the job experience is invaluable. We know that, very, very important in on the job experience. How do organizations strategize to give formal training, and ideally their employees become certified in practice of project and program management?
Mm. So I definitely feel on-the-job experience is invaluable. However, I'm also a strong believer that you should understand how things should be done uh, correctly. So therefore, I feel training is definitely something that that organization should aim to give for all of the employees. Um, there's also, the Project Management Institute. They understand that the need for project managers will be quite large in future. They have warned of shortages in terms of project management talent and skills, and that's pretty much going to cost employees quite a large amount of money over the next decade. So, in order for companies to prevent the shortage of project management skills, I do think that, the research that has been or is freely available can be used in order to create a business case and run that as a strategic initiative through the organization. I think it will give the right visibility and the support for the initiative, um, especially if companies want to, move forward in terms of how or move forward in the project economy. Okay. Then, um, every year there is normally a budgeting process, and as part of that, I do feel that every manager or organizational leader should ensure that there is sufficient budget allocated each year to ensure that their staff can be trained. The journey to certification is very important because it ensures that project and program managers understand the correct way that project and program should be run, the reasons for certain processes, etc. And I think it's vital that you have that knowledge, because I have found in experience that on-the-job experience definitely gives you skills. However, it doesn't give you the full picture, because sometimes you do learn things from people that's not actually 100% correct. I feel with the relevant studying and certifications, you actually really do get the full picture in terms of how things should be done, and you, based on that, can actually leverage that to be able to do things correctly. Okay. And then if organizations feel that certification, and depending on the number of people that they want to put through that training, is quite high, there's also options in terms of internal training development that can be done. So internal courses that can be developed and trained if certification costs are too high initially. But I really am a strong believer in PMI certification, definitely PMI. I've done my PMP and now PgMP, and I've used that throughout my career as a benchmark, and it really has proven to be quite effective in doing my job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are two ways we can see, One is,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if I train my staff, they will leave the organization because they become certified and they're more smart, then they will leave the organization. And,
Got to take care
and
of them.
yeah, if the thing is that the other way around is, if you don't train them,
Yeah.
you are living
Mm.
with, uneducated or untrained or, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
unprofessional, but they're not mature enough to do your job better,
Mm.
to
Yes.
get your efficiency. So you will find a lot of wastage because they are delaying. A lot of clients are getting impacted. Interaction with clients.
Mm.
So I think the best way, and again that goes to when we learn about the project management or program management, cost of quality.
Mm.
Two ways we can see cost of quality. You put uh, money and funding and do enough things to avoid any defects in your system. Okay, by having lots of reviews and having code reviews and making sure inspections done properly and everything. So that means when the customer get the product they have, they get free of defects. Second way, you can say, what, let's not worry too much about quality. Yes, we have some quality thing, but not too much. We'll see if there's any recall
Mm.
backs or any recalls or any warranty. We'll fix that. But those can be very costly. One is, let's say, if your car, cars we have to recall because we have seen that happen.
Mm.
One is getting cars into the workshop and fixing them, replacing them, and then brand image getting back.
Mm.
So whether you want to save money in the quality, or maybe put
Yeah.
upfront some money to the quality of your product, quality of your staff. On the job training, great if you have a mentee mentor system, people do learn from each other. And again, the risk is if you have a mentor who has learned by himself, without doing formal training, they will be teaching the mentee the way they have learned. So
Yes.
things may not be the best you want to see. Yes, the relationship is very important. Learning is great, very important. But let's put them into structured training programs. PMI has done a great job by
Mm.
creating this PMP certification, PgMP, PfMP, risk
Mm.
management, now DASM, and many other certificates.
Mm.
So, first of all, the certificate or learning should be relevant to you. What will add value to you now or in future? Where it will take you next level, next level. And certification is not just for the sake of having 3-letter or 4-letter acronym behind your name, look good on your LinkedIn or resume.
Mm.
Fantastic, all great. But what I'm going to learn from the whole process is more important.
Yes.
So when I take you through, through my mentoring program, my approach is not just to give you some tips and hints and, this is go and pass exam.
Mm.
That is given, you will get that. But what is important for you is what I'm going to learn from you, from Dharam and from the group of people. And that's where the learning is. When you learn and apply the knowledge, you come back and validate it, and you work with your team men, the group you have. The best thing I like about the group mentoring program is you not only learning from me, you're learning from each other. So with your group, Seshne and Piyush,
Yeah.
and I think I forgot, I think
Asif.
this Asif.
Asif. Yeah.
Asif did very well, actually. He completed the exam
Yes.
just after the class, actually.
Yeah, in June.
So, yeah, you continue to work with each other, and all of you pass it.
Yes.
So, look, passing exam is yes, you have that. Now you have learned from each other. That's also there, and you become friends, friend for
Yes.
life, and you have a network now. If you are you stuck with something, you will call Asif or you will call Piyush,
Yeah.
and you know each other. That's how it is.
Mm.
So, networking and learning and supporting the staff to, learn from each other and having the right skills, right certificate is very, very important from project manager point of view, program manager point of view, from organization point of
Mm.
view.
Yes.
Interesting. Great stuff. All right, thank you. My next question is, how do you get started in project management career path? Okay. Share your experience and tips with young project manager aspirants. Mine was more accidental. I can talk about that, but let's hear from.
So I think mine, you would also maybe say it's accidental. So my initial career started off as manufacturing sector as a chemical engineer on a processing plant, right? So that's where I started, and currently now I do projects and programs for IT. So I guess it's quite a difference, and therefore I was sharing that because I want people to know that it shows that anything is possible and you are able to craft your future, right? So it's in your hands, and you can basically strive for what you want. Right. So within the organizations that I worked, I normally prove myself quite well in my current role. And then I look for learning or growth opportunities. And I normally have, discussions with the management team so that they can assist me in order to grow my career. And I can give you an example. So, like when I was at Standard Bank, I was actually a consultant actually at Standard Bank. And I did quite a good job from a process business analyst perspective, and then I wanted a PM role, and the client was, they had a position opened, and they were quite happy to be able to give me that opportunity. So I found someone that believed in me and gave me the opportunity, and then I made sure that I did a very good job at that role. Um, and then again, MTN also sort of in a consulting role at MTN through IBM. And after proving myself, because at that time I was already a project manager with IBM, and I did quite a good job at the client side. And then I said I'd like to do program management, so I spoke to the managers in the company, and they didn't actually have program managers at the time, but they managed to craft this role for me. So there were different programs that they were able to give me to run within MTN, and I was very grateful for those opportunities. So I think basically what you would need to do is you need to find someone that believes in you, right? That is able to or wants to take that chance on you. And then in that journey, you need to get yourself up to speed with any gaps that you have, be it through studying, be it through reading, be it through whatever, right? You need to put in the work to be able to get that closed and be successful at the opportunity that's given to you. Because at the end of the day, you cannot let the person down that has taken the chance on you, right? So ultimately, that is how I've sort of come to where I am currently. So yeah.
So it's actually a fantastic journey, and
Yeah.
the young project managers or people who are aspiring to be project managers, they need to see that one is when we want to become a doctor, when we want to become chartered accountant, there's a study. You have to finish 4 years of graduation, and then this and this. So there's full process for that. But I've not seen nowadays there are some programs. Project management is if they're teaching project management from very early age, people can choose their career. Okay? But the thing is that most of the people can end up into project management. Either there was opportunity or they were accidentally because somebody was running the project and you are the team leader or you are a business analyst and the person left the organization, they can ask, hey, would you like to run this project? And it's great that you got opportunity, but in that you jump to the project management position without learning the project management.
Yeah.
Okay, the risk is, and that happened to me. I was very good in technical point of view. I understand the system very well, and I can run, the whole billing system. I know that, Then there was opportunity. Somebody was, left that organization. They were hiring project manager. I put my hand up. Luckily, I got selected. Now I was running the project as if I'm doing my coding and running my. So whenever there was a problem, I jump to the problem. Okay, guys, I know how to solve. So I was called by my manager. Look, Dharam, you are great. You are technically very sound, but we need now a project manager, not a doer. You need to get the work done from them. You need to make sure your team is strong. They are the one who are doing the work, and you can guide them. You can mentor them. So sometimes we learn the tricks of the trade by on the job. But the best is, okay, you got some selected as project manager. What else can I do to make myself better fit in the role? Because and so that's where the PMP training or CAPM, if you're now done project manager, CAPM, look for CAPM program. And if you are already project managers, look for PgMP or PfMP courses. And it's not just, as I mentioned, it's not just for the sake of certificate. It's more about what can we learn from the whole process. PMI's way of doing things. This is the best way to make yourself from where you are, a project manager to the program manager to the portfolio manager, and to be exceptional person, exceptional human being. That's the topic we have today. Human-centric side. Great stuff. Thank you. I do have a question from audience. I think we got it earlier. Let me read it for you. And I think, okay, let me read it for you. And guys, if you have any question in the meantime, please feel free to put your question on the pad, the question pad. And by the way, I have shared the PDU code already on the chat. If you have not seen, please check the chat and take the note of that course identifier and the PDU code claim. Okay. So try it out, and if there's any problem, let me know. And people watching this video, I know this video will be there on YouTube. If you're watching this video, you have to send me an email or message. Dharam, I just watched the video with Seshne, and I really liked it. Of course, you have to tell me what you learned from that, and also requesting the PDU code. I will be very happy to give you the PDU code. And these PDU codes are generally valid from the day, 1 year from the day. So let's say we are in October 2022. So that will be valid till 2023. So if you're watching this session after October 23, then this code may not be valid. But anyway, so whenever you watch, let's come back to me, and hopefully I will be able to give you the PDU code. Okay, let me give you the question, Seshne. Using human-centric approach to building systems often require time to study real system. Okay, we have to give enough time. How do you balance expectation for quick and rapid delivery in a portfolio with long-running programs within a transformational portfolio?
So that one, I think, firstly, from I think the words being used, to me, it states that the company is not at the point yet to be able to use the human-centered project management approach. And the reason I'm saying that is, the statement that says quick and rapid delivery, I think over time it would prove that the technique that is used actually does cut down time frames. So I also believe that you can use the technique both for delivery that is quick as well as large transformation programs. It really depends on how you tailor the approach. Because ultimately, when you're solving problems for either, whether you'd want to do something quite quickly versus, the longer term transformation, you still would need to consider the customer or the client or yeah, you could say customer, right, at the end of the day, because that could be anyone that you're actually delivering the solution for. So I think you can balance it. It just depends how you utilize the methodology. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, any approach will take whenever you put go for transformation program. You can't just say rapid and quick. Give me that. You need to allow some time to understand various factors. We already talked about many things. Understanding the client's expectation, requirements, and give them time to that, and build around the system. Can take time, but you need to be very thorough in some of the systems. Okay. I think that's it for today, and I'm getting lots of appreciation. So, and of course, it takes a lot of effort from you to come to this point to be presenting. I know this is the first time you were doing this.
Yes, thank you.
You did really well. You did really good job, and I'm very happy that you have initiated your long journey. You have to start somewhere, and with me, and of course, and I like to thank my team. They put a lot of effort to organize this event and come to this point, where we can talk freely. Behind the scenes, a lot of things happen. And I like to appreciate all of you guys for coming, every time to listen to all these professionals. And it takes a lot of effort, of course. You put a bit. Of course, you have passion to learn, and make sure you continue to come and learn from each other. And you never know. You can be sitting here talking to me just like Seshne is doing. She has probably attended some of the session in past. You're watching these webinars, and she's here talking to me. So it just takes some efforts. Of course, if you are my student, of course, I like to see that happening first. Even if you're not my student and you have something to give back, I like, more than welcome to have you here in my web series or maybe podcast. I do have lots of podcasts happening. So once again, thank you, Seshne, for your effort.
Thank you very much.
Knowledge sharing. It was really, really great. Thank you.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, everyone.
And thanks all. And please feel free to share your comments. Connect with me. And I don't know, Seshne is open for connecting with you. And please, and also book some time with me if you want to learn project program, portfolio management, or certification. Happy to give you my time or help you guide you through this process. Because sometimes it's overwhelming to see, hey, lots of people saying PgMP, PfMP exams are very tough. And I know it's very tough, very, very tough. It's just because my student passing the exam in 2.5 hours doesn't mean the exam is easy. It is tough. So, a lot of people are passing the 4-hour exam in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And it's not about, I'm not recording, not want to make a record of that. But it's about you learn and give the good exam, enjoy the exam. And that will happen once you are fully prepared, mentally prepared, emotionally prepared. And believe it or not, the journey is very easy. It can be done. If 426 PgMP have done, my student, then anybody can do. If I can do, anybody can do. I can tell you that. All right, guys. So thank you very much, and see you very soon in my next webinar. I think that's coming very soon in 2 weeks' time. So keep an eye on the new announcement, and feel free to put your questions there in advance. That will be great. Otherwise, stay connected. Thank you. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.